Update. Am I the a-hole for becoming indifferent towards my wife after discovering her affair? Original post. My 30 male wife, 34 female, and I have been together for 8 years, 5 of them married. I thought we were the kind of couple that could tell each other any problem. I loved her deeply and always believed she felt the same way about me. Like many couples, we had our ups and downs, but I never thought it could lead to infidelity. 4 months ago, I started noticing changes in her behavior. She was more distant, always glued to the phone and avoiding our conversations. You know, the typical thing about a cheating person. Well, one day I came across a message on her phone that confirmed that I feared the most. She was seeing someone else. It was like a punch in the stomach. I felt anger, sadness, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. But instead of confronting her right away, I decided to wait. My main reason was to protect myself in a possible divorce. If I was going to face this situation, I wanted to have solid evidence. So I spent the next 2 months gathering messages, photos, and anything else I could use if things got legally difficult. During those 2 months, I pretended normality while the pain piled up. I watched her act like everything was fine, and with each passing day, my feelings for her faded. The love I once felt was replaced by indifference. If anyone says that love for someone doesn't go away, well, it's not entirely true. When I finally gathered all the evidence, I confronted her. I showed her everything I knew, and although she tried to deny it at first, she finally admitted that she had been having an affair. She said it was a mistake, that she still loved me, and that she wanted to work things out. But by then, I didn't feel anything anymore. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't even get angry. I simply told her that it was okay, that we could get a divorce, and that we could each move on with our lives. My lack of emotion baffled her. She said my indifference was cold and cruel, and that if I had truly loved her, I should have fought to save our marriage, which was ironic coming from her. But the truth was that I did love her, very much. Only after 2 months of living with a betrayal in silence, I just didn't care. Am I the a-hole for becoming indifferent towards my wife after discovering her affair? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Remember this, the only reason she is sorry is because she got caught. And she wants to work on the marriage after she realized she was caught. Me thinks the affair partner doesn't want anything serious. More likely OP has money and the affair partner does not. Not the a-hole. The indifference you are feeling is probably a defense mechanism. Don't be surprised if you have a lot of different emotions. Good luck, OP. True, grief hits people differently and sometimes at the oddest moment. Now for the first update. Wow, honestly, I didn't expect the volume of messages I've received in the past few hours. I apologize for not being able to respond to each comment, but rest assured, I am reading them all. My inbox is flooded with hundreds of replies, and I'm truly moved by the support and by how many people took the time to share their experiences and opinions. At first, I felt overwhelmed reading so many stories from people who have gone through similar situations, some even worse. I never imagined that so many people could relate to what I'm experiencing. It's eye-opening to realize that infidelity is more common than I thought. And yes, there were also comments that made me question whether I disconnected emotionally too quickly. But after reflecting, I believe I did what I needed to do to protect myself. Some have told me I should have tried to save the marriage, but the truth is, I don't think I could have. The betrayal felt like a wall that went up between us, and once I saw everything clearly, there was no going back to what we once had. It's not that I don't want to love or be loved, it's just that the chapter with her is over for me. Does that make me cold? I don't know, but it's my truth. One of the most impactful realizations has been seeing how many people are stuck in relationships where trust has been broken and they feel lost in how to move forward. To everyone who asks how I'm handling it, I don't have a definitive answer. For me, it's been a slow process, day by day, watching the love fade until it was simply gone. I also received messages from people in my wife's position, those who made mistakes but genuinely want to make things right. It made me wonder what would have happened if I'd confronted her before my feelings faded. Maybe things would have turned out differently, but honestly, I doubt it. Once trust is broken like that, it's nearly impossible to go back to what it was. Anyway, I want to thank everyone who shared their words, whether supportive or critical. You've given me a lot to think about, and I'm grateful for that. I'm processing all of this bit by bit, but if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe and look forward without the weight of what happened. Thank you again. Bro, just love your kids. I don't have children, but we plan to have them in the future. Also sorry for others' comments blaming you for the affair. It's amazing how they always blame the victim. Divorce is the right decision. That level of lowness isn't something worth trying for. Second update. Hi everyone. For those who don't know, I'm the guy whose wife cheated on him and I eventually became indifferent about it. I'm doing this mini update because many of you asked for one, but I'm feeling a bit lazy today, so don't expect a long one. To start, the divorce is in progress. The notice was delivered to her at a friend's house since the house we live in is mine, inherited from my mother's side. Regarding the divorce, she didn't take it well and called to tell me she would contest it, saying we weren't getting divorced. I didn't respond. I just hung up because hearing her voice bothered me in that moment. I read some comments saying indifference is a way to protect yourself from strong emotions, and I think they were right. After a few days, I started thinking about the time invested in my marriage, and I really got angry. For her, 8 years of relationship meant nothing. She was willing to throw it all away for someone else. For those curious, her lover is older, maybe 40 or 47, and he has a wife and kid. Honestly, I don't care what happens to him. Both he and my soon-to-be ex are trash that came out of the same landfill. Sorry I got angry writing this, so I took a break to calm down. Back to my soon-to-be ex, I really don't care if she contests the divorce. She's only making things harder for herself, since all our assets are separate, including the house where I live. For now, that's all I have to share. Thanks for the advice, and to those who commented that I should work things out with her, screw you. You don't get to decide for others, and frankly, it says more about your own issues. I'd rather divorce 1,000 times over than stay with someone who has no morals. Tell the wife of her lover, not the a-hole still, good luck in your divorce. She's a cheating POS. This and change the locks to your house. Maybe get some cameras. I have a sneaking suspicion that she might want to surprise you in a skimpy outfit in your house to pursue you. If she tries, call the police on her. I think she still thinks you will come around. Not the a-hole. Indifference is the ultimate power move. She made her choice, and now you're making yours, with a coolness that probably stings more than any argument would. Contesting a divorce from a house she doesn't own? That's next level denial there. Keep calm and let her handle the consequences of her own choices. Went through something similar. Indifference saved my sanity too. Stay strong. Focus on your peace and let her deal with the consequences. Contesting a divorce she can't win is just noise. You're doing what's best for you, and that's all that matters. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to loan my sister money for a divorce lawyer after she cheated on her husband? My sister, 36 female, has been married to her husband, 38 male, for 12 years. They have 3 kids together, and up until recently, I thought they had a pretty solid marriage. But about 2 months ago, she confided in me that she's been having an affair with her boss. She claimed it started because her husband doesn't pay attention to her, but honestly, I think it's just excuses. Well, her husband found out last week. He's devastated and wants a divorce, which has put her in a bad financial situation. She's now asking me, 32 male, for a loan to help cover the cost of a divorce lawyer and some of her living expenses. I refused. I told her that I can't support what she did and that her actions have consequences. She got furious, called me judgmental, and said I'm abandoning her when she needs me most. Our parents think I'm being too harsh and should help family no matter what. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give her the money? If your parents think you're being too harsh and that family helps no matter what, then they can step up and help her fix her mistakes. Family helps family. Yeah, right. Who is helping your brother-in-law? Your sister has showed that she'll betray family for her own pleasure. Exactly. If my parents are so set on family helping family, they can go ahead and cover her lawyer fees. Funny how that rule only seems to apply when it's convenient for her. It's unfair to her kids and husband. Not the a-hole. Tell her to ask for a loan from her boss. Yeah, that's what I told her actually. He could lend her the money. Not the a-hole, and you should be judgmental because your sis is a piece of trash. It's not the first time she cheats on her partner. She did that on one of her first boyfriends, and I found that really disturbing. Not the a-hole. I mean, let's break this down. She didn't accidentally bump into an affair. She fully signed up for that plot twist herself. Now she's looking at you like her personal get-out-of-consequences-free card? Sounds like she's got commitment issues. Not to the other people's money, apparently. And your parents think you're being harsh? Right, because nothing says supportive family like bankrolling a cheating scandal. You're just politely reminding her that actions have, those things called consequences. It's like she's somehow shocked that there might be real-life consequences for breaking up her family. She didn't just slip into an affair. She chose this mess and now expects the family to rally around her like she's the victim here. And my parents are really pushing that family loyalty angle. But to me, loyalty doesn't mean blindly funding someone's mistakes. It's one thing to support family in times of hardship, but she created this situation. She was hoping I'd just bail her out with no questions asked, but that's not how it works. Maybe it's time she starts figuring out the commitment she's got to her own choices. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not helping my ex-husband with babysitting and telling him to F off? I used to be married to Tom, and I honestly thought we were happy. We had a great house, good jobs, close friends and family, everything, until we had our daughter. She was born with a disability that heavily restricted her physically and mentally. Tom, being the coward he is, left us. Only recently has he started paying child support. He got remarried and had 2 more daughters. I don't speak to him, nor do I need to. He never talks about his own child and basically ignores her existence completely. His wife has tried to include my daughter and me in their family, but I refuse. I don't like her and I focus on myself and my daughter. Now here's the problem. His eldest daughter from his second marriage was in a horrible car accident a few months ago. She survived but is in critical condition and still in a hospital. Tom approached me and asked if I could babysit his youngest since he and his wife need extra time to visit their other daughter. He offered to pay me. I told him I didn't have time to care for his child and suggested he call other family members. He begged me, saying his family lives too far away and I'm the only close person he knows. I told him that's not my problem and explained that my daughter isn't used to having new people in the house. She needs to know someone for a long time before she's comfortable, and I'm not putting her comfort at risk for his child. He called me selfish and said I was punishing him and his daughter. I told him he could think whatever he wanted, and I haven't spoken to him since. His family has been harassing me over this, but I don't think I'm wrong. They're fine with him being a deadbeat, yet they're giving me grief for not bending over backward for him. I'm here because I do feel a bit guilty, but I think that's just mom guilt. Am I the a-hole? Why hasn't all those people giving you a hard time stepping up and helping him out instead of hassling you? Don't know. Maybe they can't stand him either. First of all, tell his family to watch her themselves. And then tell them to F off. Where were they when he ignores his child? Block them all. Not the a-hole. He refuses to see his daughter as his own, so you have no need to see his daughter as your own. He needs to own up to ostracizing you and your daughter and find a babysitter. It's just a weird thing to ask your ex, who hates you, to babysit your child. Some people just have no shame. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling off the wedding after my fiancé gave his ex closure without telling me? I, 28 female, have been with my fiancé, Tom, 30 male, for 3 years. He and his ex, Sarah, were together for 6 years before we met. And she's been a shadow hanging over our relationship the entire time. At first, I understood. They shared a lot of history, and breakups can be tough. But we're supposed to be each other's future now. We're planning our wedding, building a life, and I thought he was done with the past. A month ago, Tom got a random message from Sarah asking for closure. He didn't tell me about it, and instead of ignoring it or at least discussing it with me, he responded and met up with her. I found out when I saw a message on his phone that said, "Thanks for last night." My heart dropped. When I confronted him, he swore nothing physical happened, saying he stayed over until early morning just talking. I don't believe him, and worse, he got defensive, calling me insecure for feeling betrayed. He said Sarah deserved closure, and that I should understand since he's with me now. The more we talked, the more I realized he doesn't think he did anything wrong. I tried to explain how hurtful it was that he hid this from me, especially when he didn't need to, but he made me feel like I was the problem for being jealous of a friendship. Then came the kicker. Tom had the audacity to tell me this needed to happen so we could truly move on. He even suggested that Sarah should come to the wedding as a friend to show everyone there's no bad blood. I was stunned. How could he think it's appropriate to invite his ex to our wedding? Someone he apparently still feels the need to support? I've since called off the wedding, saying I need time to think, but my family and friends are split. Half say I should be able to trust him if he says nothing happened, while others think I'm totally justified. Meanwhile, Tom has been telling our friends that I'm controlling and making a big deal out of nothing, and now I'm second-guessing myself. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down, or am I overreacting to something that really was innocent? He stayed there overnight for closure? Just how long does closure take? Not the a-hole, and he is bad-mouthing you to everyone, which only confirms your choice. I wonder how he'd feel if he spent the night with her ex. Exactly. I can only imagine the outrage if the tables were turned and I stayed over with my ex. Somehow, it's okay for him to pull something like this, but if I'd done it, I'm sure he'd see it as a betrayal. It really shows a double standard and lack of respect for our relationship. I have come to a realization I deserve someone who values my trust as much as I valued his. Not the a-hole. You're the rebound. Opie, that whooshing sound you're hearing is from the bullet you dodged. The controlling comment was game over no matter what. Get everything that is at his place and block him. They can have each other. Right? That was the final straw. It just showed he was trying to twist things around and make me feel guilty for his shady choices. I'm definitely done with this. Time to get my things and move on. They're welcome to each other. Thank you for this. Update. A random girl has contacted me saying that my boyfriend of 2+ years violated her. What should I do about this? Original post. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years. We live together and own a dog together. We love each other very much and get along like gangbusters. We are very intimate, like about 3 to 4 times a week, and my boyfriend has never ever done anything that made me feel even the slightest bit uncomfortable. He is very sweet, very loving man, and he has always stopped immediately during the act whenever I have shown even the slightest sign of discomfort. This past Friday, the two of us were out doing our own things as I went out to a bachelorette party. My boyfriend went to a party on campus at the university he attends. We talked Saturday and he told me the party was fun, but that nothing remarkable happened. Then this afternoon, I received a Facebook message from a girl who I do not know but who attends my boyfriend's school. Her message basically said that my boyfriend got her drunk at a party he attended Friday and that he subsequently violated her. She feels like my boyfriend is dangerous and wants to warn me that he is an unsafe person to be around. I have not replied to the message or asked the girl any questions about her story yet, and I'm not sure if I should or not. I know that I need to talk to my boyfriend about this, but I am not sure how to go about it. I checked his Facebook friends list and they are not friends, and I've never heard her name mentioned before by my boyfriend or any of our mutual friends. I am not sure whether or not I believe this woman, but I don't feel like I can totally dismiss this and forget it ever happened. So help me. How do I ask my boyfriend about this? Should I message her back? And if so, what should I say? What should I do? Now for the top advice before reading the update. You never know what people will do, even people you know very, very well. This girl may be stalk crazy, she may have a legit claim, or she may be manipulating you for some reason. Whatever the case may be, tread lightly. Write her back. Tell her to go to the hospital and get a kit done. She doesn't have to talk to the police, but the hospital will probably send them over. I was a crisis counselor in college for a while, and this is what happens. She can call one of those services and have someone go with her if she wants. But this isn't about her. Either way, she should do this if she's serious, and then tell you about it. Maybe you should arrange to meet her in person, so you can look this girl in the eye while she tells you about this incident with your man. When you're ready to talk to him, you know him at this point. You'll be able to read his face and body language while you hear him speak. Maybe you did this thing or something close to it, or maybe you didn't. You'll know more when you speak to him. Do you trust him to be honest with you, no matter what? You or he should possibly bring this to the proper school authorities as well. Is this girl in a sorority? I don't really know where this kind of thing would be handled. Maybe the police if she's a crazy person, just so it's on record. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. You're going to have to do a lot of trusting your gut on this one, and that's incredibly hard. It might take you a long time to get over the seed of doubt that's been planted. I hope things work out for the better. I'm on board with the idea of telling her to get a kit done as well. I would definitely minimize contact with her though, and certainly don't agree to meet up with her. The best advice I would give otherwise is to seek advice from a professional on how to approach the situation. Collectively, Reddit may be very smart, but you need some pretty specific wisdom to handle the situation well, and are better off seeking it from someone with a proper training. Got her drunk at a party he attended Friday and that he subsequently violated her. Sadly, got her drunk and forced her usually translates as she got drunk, had consensual hookup, and then felt ashamed in the morning. Edit. I will post an update Thursday or Friday depending on when I have time. Thanks everyone. Now for the update. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their responses. I read every response and message and took all of it to heart. Here's what happened next. The morning after posting, I showed my boyfriend a message. He denied everything, but I could tell right away from his body language that something had happened between him and a girl. I asked him if he was okay with me talking with a girl in person or contacting the host of the party to ask about the girl's story. At first, he was really reluctant to let me investigate further, but after a while, he seemed resigned to the fact that I was going to get to the bottom of this one way or another. He told me that he understood why I was worried and that he was okay with me doing anything I could to set my mind at ease. I took that as a good sign and called the host of the party, who really didn't tell me much, just that my boyfriend and a girl were both there. I then arranged an in-person meeting with a girl. I met the girl for coffee. Once she was in front of me and I asked her face-to-face about whether she got a kit done, she changed her story a lot. She told me she had met my boyfriend at a party last Friday. She said that they spent the whole night drinking and talking. She said that after the party was over, she and my boyfriend went back to her apartment and ended up accidentally hooking up, whatever that means. She said she sent the message to me the next morning because she was upset when she looked him up on Facebook to friend him and saw that he had a long-term girlfriend. He apparently did not mention me once the entire night, and she was enraged that he used her like that. I told her that I thought that was more than just a little crazy, and she agreed, claiming that her crazy side just came out and she couldn't help but send me the message. I told her that it was very, very wrong to make false accusations like that, and that she should be completely ashamed of herself. She also said that she was really sorry for everything and that she would not contact me nor my boyfriend again. Needless to say, I went home and confronted my boyfriend. He admitted to everything and told me the exact same story as the girl. We broke up, and he is in the process of moving out of our apartment. I am devastated, because I really loved and trusted this man, but I have too much self-respect to continue to deal with a cheater. I do not believe anyone hook up by accident, and being really, really drunk just isn't a good enough excuse for me. Anyways, thanks for everything, and don't worry, I'm getting tested for STDs tomorrow. What kind of girl pretends to get violated because she was angry? Does she not understand the ramifications of that? WTF? Your ex-boyfriend doesn't even deserve that kind of crazy. Congrats on moving on with your life. Good luck on the STD test. My ex stuck is drunk and crazy. Thanks. I'm just going to eat a lot of Ben & Jerry's, wallow for the weekend, and then move on with my life. It's hard and it hurts, but it's way better than being somebody's doormat. What a fantastic outlook on a crappy situation. Healthy, healing, and acknowledging the crappiness of the situation. You are clearly a rock star that will be amazingly better on the other side of the wallow weekend. Cheers to you, and eat some ice cream for me. You are an exceptionally mature woman. I really admire how you've dealt with this. Seriously, that's what I call emotional health. I'm sorry for what happened, but I'm sure that with this attitude, you'll find a deserving guy soon. I'm going to take a break from dating and try to enjoy being single for a little while. Being cheated on and going through so much really weird drama can take a toll on a person, and I don't want to jump into anything worse. Gotta clear my head. Next story. My 29 female, boyfriend 32 male gave away my Hamilton tickets. Am I being selfish for just wanting to break up over this? Backstory. My mom is genuinely one of the funniest, kindest, sweetest people I've ever met, and I'm genuinely lucky to have been her daughter. She had me fairly young, raised me by herself, and while we were pretty poor growing up, she did her darnest to make sure that I got a good education and had everything I needed as a kid. One of the things we share is a love of theater. She would save up and take me to all the musicals that stopped on tour in our town, and while we were always in the cheap seats, it was always something we both greatly looked forward to. These memories of going to the theater with my mom are very precious to me, and is one of the main factors in why I work in the entertainment industry today. Corporate side though, as I have a horrendous singing voice. Lol. Fast forward to today. Like most theater nerds, my mom and I are basically obsessed with Hamilton. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with it, the show is basically impossible to get tickets for at this point, unless you want to see it in January of next year. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position with my job that I could afford tickets for a show in July for me and my mom. These are amazing seats, 5th row center. And through some type of divine intervention, I managed to snag tickets for the night that creators/lead in Hamilton Lin-Manuel Miranda's final performance. I surprised my mom with these tickets back in December for Christmas. I bought them in October, I think, and I'm making a whole week of it. I put us up in a really nice hotel. I made reservations at a bunch of restaurants that we both want to try, and we're going to do a bunch of touristy places in general. Plus, try to see if we can fit in at least one other show before we leave. We are both incredibly excited for this. My mom even has a little Hamilton countdown that she's doing on a mini chalkboard she uses as a planner. She sends me pictures every day when she changes it. It's cute. In January, I began dating this guy that I'll refer to as Josh. We were casual/not exclusive for a while, but became serious within the last 2 months. He also works in the corporate side of entertainment, but at a different agency than I do. He also has a higher position than me and makes a lot more money than I do. This becomes important. We met in an industry event and we hit it off instantly. I thought I could get really serious about this guy, and up to this point there have been no red flags that I've seen. Although, to be honest, right now I'm sifting through all of my memories to see if there's something I missed. He also comes from a much wealthier family than I do. Josh has a younger sister that I'll call Jennifer, 17, that's kind of going through a big troubled teen phase. She cuts class, smokes, and is really disrespectful to her parents. I've only met her once, but as far as I know, she's not doing anything too bad. She's just kind of a sad kid and could really benefit from some therapy. I floated this by Josh, but he said his parents are kind of disdain of therapy in general. Josh says they can't reach out to her no matter what they do, and they've tried everything, except trying to get her to a counselor. But whatever. Actual problem time. Sunday night, I was at my place with Josh. We were drinking wine and cuddling while watching the Tonys Theater Awards show. My mom was texting me during the Hamilton performance and geeking out about how excited she was. I laughed and showed my mom's text to Josh because I thought it was so adorable. And he didn't say anything off, but he was acting kind of strange after. He asked me what date the show we were going to was. I told him, and then he went into the other room to take a phone call. I thought nothing of it, because we both have to take random phone calls like that for our jobs all the time, and is going through kind of a tough time it is. He was in an unusually good mood afterwards, and said he had to go home early because he had to sign some forms at the office early tomorrow, before we met up to get brunch with his parents later that day. Again, nothing too unusual, and pretty common with the both of us. He picks me up at work for the brunch with his parents, and again, he's in an unusually good mood. I ask what's up, and he says vaguely that things are going well at the office and this deal he's trying to make is finally going through. I don't really press for info because we both try to avoid work topics, partially due to work stuff being fairly banal, and partially because we both have to sign some pretty gnarly NDAs a lot of the time. And this is only my second time meeting his parents, so I'm still a bit nervous about brunch. We get to the brunch place, and the first thing his mom does when she sees me is give me a huge warm hug and profusely thanks me for my kindness. His dad also gives me a huge handshake and thanks me for helping out with Jen. I'm kind of WTFing because I have no clue what they're talking about. I ask what she means, and she says for giving her the Hamilton tickets. I turn around to Josh and he just had this big grin on his face. Guys, that time my boyfriend was away talking on the phone for business, he was actually on the phone with Jen, promising that I would give her my Hamilton tickets. I was so thrown off by this that I kind of not very tactfully, I admit, say how I had no clue about this. Josh looks angry, and his parents are equally thrown off. But instead of getting mad at Josh, his mom just says, "Well, you can still give them to her though, right?" And they all look at me like I'm supposed to just agree with this. And I tried to explain that the trip is actually for me and my mom, and how important this is to my mom. All three of them start going on about how Jen is super excited about this, and that this is the first time that she's not been mad / expressed happiness to them in a while. And that's how the next half hour goes basically, until the parents leave, mad, and the dad calls me a selfish cow. I'm so flabbergasted that I just sort of put up with it, but I could barely get a word in. Josh and I go outside a brunch place and he starts screaming at me about my selfishness, and how Jen is going through a much harder time than they thought. He wasn't very clear on this, so I'm not quite sure what it meant. And that I'm being childish because it's just a musical. I hate having arguments in public. Also, this is one of my favorite brunch spots and I wanted to be able to come back without being embarrassed, so I wasn't really engaging. He eventually called me the C word and then left in his car, which is awkward as hell because it was valet parking, so he was just kind of stewing by the valet stand while I was waiting for my Uber. Later that night, I texted him saying while I wasn't giving up my tickets, there are still some available on that date. However, they cost about $2,500 due to ticket scalpers jacking up the price. Believe me, this is not a problem for either the parents or my boyfriend. He literally just bought a $3,000 watch for funsies last week. But the only response I got was that was an exorbitant fee, which I agree, but not the point he refuses to pay. And that he didn't understand why I couldn't just give the tickets to Jen. I also got texts from both his parents pleading with me to give the tickets. And also they forwarded an email to me that Jen sent to Josh and her parents, thanking them for the surprise. Apparently, she's also obsessed with Hamilton and this is making her year. Also, we live in LA. Do they also expect me to give up my plane ticket / hotel? What was their game plan here? Look, I completely understand wanting to help out with Jen, and I feel really bad that apparently her family's filled with weirdos. But this has been also baffling, and the entitled behavior they displayed is a massive turnoff. I'm not giving up these tickets, but I also kind of want to cut my losses here. The attitude Josh displayed towards me outside of the brunch place was very unpleasant to say the least. And he knows how disrespectful I find being called a C-word, so I'm of half a mind to just break up with him. He knew I had these tickets for a while, and I don't get why he decided to do this now at all. But should I contact Jen and explain it all? I just saw that he made a really excited post on Facebook about it. I'm not friends with her, but I'm friends with my boyfriend and I liked her post. I would straight up buy the ticket for her. But frankly, I can't afford those prices because I'm saving up for the New York trip for my mom. How do I move forward? Now for the top advice before reading the update. This is really bizarre and I think you should break up. I'm super confused though still, as I'm sure are you. Who would think this was a reasonable way to go about things in a million years? I really don't understand how we can see texts from Opie's mom freaking out with excitement about going to see this show and immediately think that the tickets are up for grabs. What a narcissistic a-hole. No wonder Jen is having such a hard time. She's being raised by narcissistic a-holes like these people. I genuinely feel bad for Jen. I didn't go into detail about this because my post was already way too long, but the email I was forwarded made me cry. She's having a really tough time as being a teen girl in LA sucks. And the Hamilton tickets made her feel like she was actually being listened to / understood by her parents. This is all messed up. So, they not only gave your tickets away, but they didn't even tell Jen it was from you? They just took credit for it? She thanks them several times, so I'm fairly certain they said it was a gift from them. There's no way I'm giving up the ticket still, but frankly, after the limited interaction I've had with her parents, I can definitely understand why she's acting out. Now for the update. Yeah, I'm typing up an email dumping him right now. Normally, I think it's better to meet up in real life for things like this, but his behavior both during and outside brunch was scary, and I would prefer not to be alone with him right now. Maybe that's paranoid, but better safe than sorry. I think this is one of those situations where everything was so crazy, and they were acting like this is totally normal behavior, that I thought I was the insane one. Update. I'm about to sue my late wife's family, and it makes me sick. Original story. My wife died suddenly in an accident that critically injured our son. Suffice it to say, along with being shattered, the whole matter has me rather preoccupied. Her family arrived rather quickly and took charge of a lot of things, especially the funeral. It was helpful because my focus needed to be on my son. I was pretty much a guest at my own wife's funeral, because although I was there for a brief while, it was on a day when my son was scheduled for a rather serious procedure, and so my time was divided. All the while, I could hear Suzanne, my wife, in my mind telling me to take care of Zach and not worry about the formalities. So I basically just gave my in-laws my checkbook. I'm not complaining about that. What happened next is different. They wanted to take some of her things, and of course I understood the value in them having a keepsake of their sister/daughter. I would never have said no. But they took everything. Keep in mind, I wasn't there. My younger son wasn't in the house at the time either. The next time I was home, I realized that they basically cleaned the house out of everything they thought was hers, including photo books. Hours before this, my wife's older sister even went so far as to say she wanted to take PJ, my younger son, saying I needed time and that he would be better with them. I shut that down before she ever finished the idea, though I tried not to let my anger show. In the immediate, my feeling was, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I simply didn't have the time or bandwidth to deal with it then. Not long after, my wife's sister called asking about several pieces of jewelry, claiming them as heirlooms to the family. That prompted me to recall a safe deposit box that my wife kept. I never thought we needed it. When I went to close it out, I found the jewelry. They're not getting the jewelry, but also among the papers, I found that she had a will. It wasn't formal, but it was detailed, and I later learned that it is enforceable. Key to note, my brother-in-law, after learning that his wife took such things as our photo books, demanded that she return them. She refused. My lawyer has been communicating with me constantly since the accident. There are so many details, and I had already given him the will. When I told him that my sister-in-law refused to return the property, which rightfully belongs to our children, he told me he would make a written request for all items to be returned to the executor, me, in order that they can be distributed in accordance to her wishes. It asked me to make a list. This was over a month ago. Today, I get a reply from some attorney stating effectively that I had given them permission, and so all items questioned were gifts. Are you freaking kidding me? This reply came through my lawyer, wherein he said, now we play hardball. He said he'll seek an order, though I'm not sure if that requires a trial, that I meet with him next week. I would be passive at the shadow of all this mess if it meant protecting my boys from a family upset. But a line has been crossed. I want my sons to have a good relationship with their mother's family. That's paramount, and I would do whatever it took to ensure that. Now we're about to get into a legal dispute, and things are likely to go badly. My last communication was with my mother-in-law, where she lost her mind on me. We had always been close, so this is all so strange to me. She was making demands that were unreasonable. The call ended abruptly when I explained that the boys were my children, that I would decide what is in their best interest, and suggest that she not test me because I'm done playing. I don't need this crap. I buried the love of my life. I'm dealing with the after effects of the accident. I am doing everything I can to bring my son back to good. And now I have to deal with this? Thing is, people manage grief differently. I get that. I respect that. These are not bad people. They are simply behaving badly. But I can't allow it. I haven't told the boys about any of this yet. I hope I won't have to. More than once, one of them asked where this or that is, and I told them that their aunts borrowed them. Who does this? Seriously. Anyway, I have nobody to yell at, but I really don't want to kick the dog. I love the dog, so I'm just venting again here. Thanks for giving me a place to do that. Now for the top comments before reading the update. You are 100% justified, and I hope you get them in court. That's some BS. I'd be doing exactly what you were doing. This makes me so mad. We had the same issue when my brother died. People stealing things, saying they wanted to be in his room one last time. We did, however, take all the valuables out before people came by. But those sentimental things, those are worth more than money. Get those people. You know, I'm actually glad to hear your anger because it makes me feel more justified in my own. This really is wrong. It's not just me. My aunt did that when my grandmother died. She just showed up with boxes and tried to take everything. My mom stepped in and luckily stopped a chunk of it. One day she came back when mom wasn't around. I was only 11, so I couldn't do much. But I watched her go through the apartment and she would say, "Oh, I like that," knowing my grandfather would just let her have it. Freaking vulture. I'm very sorry for your loss. People suck. You're doing the right thing. How dare they? She didn't belong to them. You're entitled to her memory too. Of all the heartless and sensitive things to do. I've heard of people hiding all of the deceased things and rug sweep their grief, but to have that done to you against your will? That is absolutely belittling to the values you played in your family. My blood is molten on your behalf. I wish you luck. Thank you. She was my family. She belonged to me and to our sons. We were her family by choice, and our boys are entitled to everything she wanted them to have. These people are about to figure that out. They're messing with the wrong guy. I hope your son is doing well. He is, and thank you for asking. He's doing better every day. And now for the update. After my wife died suddenly, I vented here about how her family came through and took her belongings. The reaction from the sub was more than I expected, and was appreciated. A lot of folks here were pissed in my behalf. Many asked that I update, and so I am. I had a long and reasonably deep discussion with Suzanne's mother and sisters earlier today. They speak to the boys, my sons Zach and PJ, on occasion, and actively seek the connection. I haven't spoken to them in a while, and haven't proceeded with any additional action since the initial request through my attorney that they return her property, now my children's property. It was my wife's older sister's birthday a couple of days ago, and, for all that's happened, I still made sure to send her lilies. Suzanne sent her lilies every year. I guess I was looking to remain human through all this mess, and maybe rubbing their nose a little at the same time. Either way, this was the catalyst for her call today. We spoke for a minute or two, before she asked if I would speak to them all together on Zoom. They were actually standing by as we spoke, so I closed the door of my study and joined them online. As they popped up on my screen, I didn't say anything. I didn't show any emotion at all. This was their invitation, so I would just listen, and I had no idea what to expect. Her mother started a conversation by hitting the tough subject head-on, saying, "We have the request from your lawyer and we withdraw our answer. We want to comply with everything." Then her older sister added, "And we want to know how we can fix what we broke." For the hell I've been living over this? The relief of their words was enough. So I told them nothing needs to be broken. They asked me if I would listen, and of course I said I would. And for a while I did. I didn't say a word. They were orderly, if not rehearsed, in their monologue, taking turns at affirming each other. Her mother explained that they were shattered after losing Suzanne, and that they seemed to come together as a pack. We've had some time since those first days and we've talked it through, and all of us realized that we weren't thinking, her younger sister said. Part of their grief was anger, they explained. They weren't angry with me, just angry in general. When they were at the house and picking a couple of items to keep, they just kept taking things. Her older sister explained that they were upset that, as Suzanne's husband, I controlled everything and everything defaulted legally to me. She said it shouldn't have upset them, acknowledging that's just how it is, but that they felt secondary. This was the only time I spoke, saying, "I never made you feel secondary. We just wanted her back," one of them said. "Without that, we just wanted everything we could have of her." They knew they were wrong, but being wrong only made it worse. They explained it like digging a hole and not being able to get out of it. "So we doubled down," one of them said. Her mother became emotional when she said, "I read the inscription on the box and realized that it wasn't Suzanne's, but that she had it made for you." She then said she didn't mean to take it. The inscription she speaks of is carved on the inside lid of a small decorative box that Suzanne gave me years ago. It reads, "Still and after all." She always said that to me, especially after I would drive her crazy. Whenever it got Suzanne mad, I'd ask if she loved me. She always said, "Still and after all." Anyone would know that the box means a great deal to me. The upshot is that my brother-in-law will be returning everything next weekend. Her mother emphasized everything. He'll be driving down and my sister-in-law asked if it might be possible for him to stay over, given that it's a long ride. I told her that Anthony should always consider this his home, and they should too. When they finished, it was my turn. I didn't say much. I didn't want to say a lot. I only told them how much their decision meant to me and the boys. I explained that I understood everything they said. We were all out of our minds, I assured them. I'm relieved and yet cautious. I need some time to pass, but I'm hopeful that the relationship will heal going forward. I remember reading your original post. The fact you are mature and adult enough to hear them out for your kids' sake is commendable. If anybody came for my partner's stuff if she had passed, I'd be going King Kong on everybody that gets over the threshold. I'm super hyped for you that you got your wish though. Truly excellent news. Thank you. You might remember that I was on the verge. There was a lot of talk about scorched earth. I'm just so glad it's resolved. I'm glad for this update. Happy that they saw their actions were not right. I'm glad that they took a step back and regained their humanity. Godspeed and good luck. Wow. I haven't seen your original post, but reading this brought me to tears. Reconciliation is not something you see often these days. How big your hearts must be to have agreed to speak with them all on the spot. I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm hopeful for your families moving forward and healing together. I read your original post, and it was heartbreaking and infuriating all at the same time. When you should have been seeking comfort with family members, they pushed you aside. To read today's post was wonderful, and I'm so glad they saw how hurtful their actions were. I hope that the relationship between you and her family survives all of this turmoil, for the sake of your children and you. Best of luck to all of you. I'm with you. I really do hope that this is something we can put a period on and move forward to better days. I'm thinking we all want that. And the best part, my boys still have no idea. I'm trying to keep it that way. Thank you. Now for the last story. Update. My ex-girlfriend passed, but her family barely contacts me that she had a baby. Original story. There's no doubt her son is 100% mine because we had a paternity test just to be sure. Anyways, I, 27 male, barely found this out weeks ago. The only reason we broke up is because I had to move back across the country last year to help my family after my dad died from COVID. Didn't want to do the long distance since I was gonna stay there working for a bit. She never told me anything. Her mom says she didn't want me to worry about her all the way over there when my dad's family needed me more, and that she was gonna tell me as soon as I was back. I moved back little a month ago. Only now I'm finding out not only that I lost her, they said there were complications when she gave birth, but we have a baby boy. Feeling a mix of stuff, and the worst part is, I can't talk to her about it because I wish she'd told me. Her mom says they've barely been managing with him. They need help with him, and so that's why she reached out to me once they learned I was back. Of course, he's mine and that's my responsibility. Still, it's hard not to panic. I'm still in shock about her death. Now I've got a son I need to take care of and didn't even get to be part of the first 2 months of his life. My family doesn't know about him yet. Hell, I still haven't met him yet. Her mom's only sent me pictures. He's beautiful. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm scared, sad, and pissed off for some reason. I'm nervous about meeting him, or how this is gonna go. Her parents will be around to help, but I know he'll be with me full-time for the most part. Really, any advice I'll really appreciate. From new parents or anyone, honestly. What the hell do I do about all these new changes? Now for the top advice before reading the update. I would look into your company's policy on parental leave, then start looking into childcare options such as whether the grandparents can help with that. Congrats on being a parent. Condolences on your loss, and you can do it. Are you listed on a birth certificate? If you aren't, then not only do you have no responsibilities, you have no rights either. It could be very dangerous for you to take over the care of this child if you are not listed as a parent. Anyway, sounds like a mess, but you can do it. Lots of single moms in the world do it all the time. I don't know where you are located, but there are all kinds of resources for new parents, single parents, etc. One of the best places to start is at the pediatricians. Good luck. Not yet, but we're gonna look into getting that taken care of. Her parents want to help out but can't have him full-time anymore. And now for the update. All the info and advice you guys gave in my original post meant a lot to me, so thanks for that. Some of you wanted an update. What can I say? Things have been chaotic. Finally met my son, and that was just a truckload of emotions hitting me all at once. Wasn't expecting it. My ex's mom had to take him for a minute because I was literally sobbing. It wasn't because I didn't want to be his dad or anything. It's one of those moments where everything hits you at once and the only thing you can do is cry. She understood it though, and she cried with me. She's a sweet lady. One of those ladies that treats everyone like her child because of how caring she is. My son has my ex's nose and the shape of her eyes. That's what hit me more. Just because we broke up for the meantime while I was at my dad's didn't mean I stopped being in love with her. And now we have a baby together. Only she won't get to be here to share that family experience, and I miss her so much. Got to hold my son, introduced myself to him. Me and her mom talked about custody stuff. Already got a lawyer for that to make the process easier. So everyone's on the same page. They let me stay over, talked more about my ex, had a few beers with her dad. I stayed at their house a few days because honestly, I was still terrified of being left alone with my son because I had no clue what to do with him. They were both really kind and patient about showing me how to change his diapers, feedings, how to give him a bath, rock him to sleep, how to install the car seat in my car without throwing it on the floor. Her parents were nice enough to let me spend the night, so every time he woke up, I'd be there, either to watch her how she does everything, then I started doing it. He's been with me almost 2 weeks at my place. Got mostly all of his stuff with me. Looking for a 2-bedroom, but for now is sleeping in his bassinet in my room. It's been really hard. Especially the first night, I probably called her mom like 5 times within 2 hours because he would not stop crying. Then his pediatrician because I'm freaking out something might be wrong with him. Calming him down whenever he got fuzzy was my weak spot. Nothing I tried was working. Singing to him seemed to help a lot, walking around my apartment and rocking him nonstop. It's still not easy. At least now I'm feeling more confident that I can handle the crying and not freak out enough to call for help. Taking time off from work again so I can be here with him full time. I'm tired, stressed, still got a lot going on emotionally, but I'm also just happy when I'm holding him or making him smile. Honestly, the little stuff he does, even his cute little sneezes, makes me love him even more. Seems like he's starting to like me too. Almost everyone in my family has met him on Zoom. My mom's coming over to see him. She's offering to do babysitting once I go back to work in another few months, so that's one less thing to worry about. I just wish my dad would have had a chance to meet him. I know they would have been best friends, and it definitely spoiled my son so much. It is like my ex knew that too. So didn't know this until her parents gave me his birth certificate. But my ex wanted his middle name to be my dad's, so that was a nice surprise for me that he's got his grandpa's name too. I'm slowly adjusting to this new life. Not easy, but it makes it worth it. I want to be his dad and give him the best I can the way my dad did with me.